This is my video presentation. For why I chose this topic is because many media is biased nowadays, as in the news and on the internet that you will see. And then my thesis statement for this was many people think that the media isn't biased, but most research suggests otherwise about this. And then for one of my sources, it was on the nature of real and preserved news bias in the mainstream media on PLOS One. And this one basically just says that most media is biased in many ways, and it basically goes into detail about that and explains it. This was where I got most of my stuff from. And then my other one was the impact of individual and interpersonal factors on preserved news media bias on political psychology. And that one basically just says that most of the stuff says that it is biased, but in some ways it isn't biased, and most Republicans think that it's biased more than Democrats. And then another one was alternative media and the notion of anti-systemness towards an analytical framework on media and communication. And this one basically goes into detail about how most media is biased towards like diseases and viruses and stuff like that. And then another one was tuberculosis in foreign-born populations in the United States, and a mixed methods pilot study of media reporting and political identification on PLOS One. And this one basically just goes into more detail about people being biased towards diseases and viruses, explaining how people think that like they blow stuff out of proportions about diseases and everything. And then my last source was how to avoid misinformation about COVID-19. And this one I received from the Smithsonian Museum, or it was technically the Smithsonian Mag. But this one basically is just going into detail about how you need to avoid any misinformation you could get from the coronavirus, and how many news outlets will blow this out of proportion and make everything seem worse than it really is, so that you will follow whatever the government is wanting from you. And if you don't see it from the CDC or any like WHO or any like disease thing, then don't trust it basically.